It's slightly more exclusive.
It feels like an ever so slightly insulting afterthought.
Hey, welcome to TalkWord. This is the show where we get into all the hidden rules of English. Today, we're going to put a word you probably use all the time under the microscope. It's a small one, but it's surprisingly tricky. I'm talking about the word slightly. So, let's get right to it. Have you ever stopped to think about this? You can say, I'm slightly tired, and that sounds totally normal, right? But what if you say, I'm slightly exhausted? It just feels wrong, doesn't it? They seem so similar, but one works and the other is a total no-go. Well, this little puzzle is actually the key to a hidden rule in English that once you get it is going to make your speaking way more precise.
Okay, so on the surface, the definition is super simple. Slightly just means a little bit or to a small degree. Easy enough. But like with a lot of English words, it's how we actually use that simple meaning. That's where things start to get really interesting.
And here it is. This is the big one. The key to mastering the word slightly. The whole secret boils down to understanding the difference between two kinds of adjectives, what we call gradable and absolute. Seriously, once you get this concept, you are never going to get this wrong again.
So what in the world is a gradable adjective? Well, think of it like a volume knob on a stereo, or maybe a dimmer switch for a light. You can turn it up or down, right? These are words for things that can exist in different degrees. A day can be a little bit warm, or really warm, or crazy hot. It's all on a scale. And slightly, that just means you're turning that dial up just a tiny bit from zero. Okay, now look at this. This is where that rule just clicks into place. Over on the left, you've got those gradable words we just talked about, like tired or big. They're on a scale. But the words on the right, words like exhausted or huge, those are what we call absolutes. They're either the very, very end of the scale, or they're just on or off. You're either exhausted or you're not. There's no in-between. Something is unique or it isn't. You can't be kinda unique.
Let's put this to the test with a perfect example. I was slightly late for the meeting. That sounds completely fine. And why? Because late is gradable. Think about it. You can be 1 minute late, 10 minutes late, a whole hour late. It's a scale. All slightly does is tell us you are on the lower end of that lateness scale.
And now for the total opposite. He is slightly dead. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, right? And it's because dead is an absolute. It's a binary thing. It's either on or off. You can't be a little bit dead. There are no degrees of dead. And that right there is the most important thing to remember. You just can't use slightly with an absolute.
All right, so we've got the grammar rule locked down. But this isn't just about grammar, is it? Let's check out how slightly can be this secret weapon in social situations, especially when you're trying to be polite.
Okay, picture this. You're in a work meeting. If you say, I'm concerned about this plan, that can land pretty heavily. It sounds critical. But watch what happens when you just add slightly. I'm slightly concerned about this plan. See? It totally softens it. It says, hey, I have a little reservation here, but it's not a 5-alarm fire. It just opens up the conversation instead of sounding like you're attacking the idea. Here's an even clearer before and after. Saying, I don't like this idea. That's blunt. It can really shut things down. But if you just tweak it to, I'm slightly unsure about this idea, it changes the whole vibe. You've just turned a hard no into a much softer, let's talk about this more. It is an absolutely fantastic tool for communicating in a way that's both professional and respectful.
So it's great for being polite, but that's not all. Slightly is also the absolute perfect word for another situation we run into all the time. Talking about small, subtle comparisons.
Think about a sentence like this. Here, slightly is actually doing double duty. First, it's telling you that profits are up, which is good news. But at the same time, it's managing expectations. It's making it clear that the increase wasn't, a giant leap. It's such a precise and efficient way to give someone the real picture.
And if you were to graph that sentence, this is exactly what it would look like. You can see the profit is higher, for sure, but it's not some massive jump. That little gap between the two bars, that is slightly higher. It's an increase you can see, but it's not going to blow your mind.
Okay, let's wrap this up. We're going to bring everything together now and do a quick-fire review of the common mistakes you want to avoid. That way, you can go out and use slightly with total confidence. So just remember the big rule. Do not use slightly with those absolute words like fantastic, finished, or huge. It just doesn't work. You can't be slightly fantastic. No, you're absolutely fantastic. You're not slightly finished with your work, you're almost finished. And something isn't slightly huge, it's just very big. Easy, right?
So there you have it. We've totally unlocked the secret to using slightly perfectly.
It all comes down to knowing the difference between what's gradable and what's absolute. And that makes me wonder, what other simple everyday English words do you think are out there just hiding these kinds of complex rules right under our noses?
Hey, if you had fun with this explainer and want to keep digging into words, you should definitely check out the TalkWord mobile app. You can actually create your own little English word explainers, just like this one with our two friendly hosts. It's a great way to keep exploring. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today.
Or remembers that you lost your watch, or knows how much you love white roses, or that one of your ears is slightly smaller than the other.
I think she enjoys that side of it slightly more.